Hey, what's going on everybody? This is Noble, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my updated version of the Buster Blader deck profile. So I've been getting a lot of requests for this one, and I was actually meant to do this one a few weeks ago. There was a few cards, of course, same old story. I didn't get in the mail until just recently, and then I went on vacation. So we're here. We're doing the updated Buster Blader. Losing Destrudo hurt. Not going to lie, that one did hurt. But we are still able to go into Buster Dragon fairly easily and to just really turbo out Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman, make everything on our opponent's side of the field dragons, and then just completely lock them down, which is a ton of fun. So without further ado, guys, let's get right on into this one. So to start off with, I am running 3 Buster Blader, the Destruction Swordsman. So I'm running 3 of this one. Or actually, I'm running 3 of this and 2 of the OG Buster Blader because this one's better, honestly. And you don't want to brick with too many Buster Bladers, so that's why I'm running 2 and 3. But the one that has the effect, technically this is a vanilla in my opinion. I'm never going to have this on the field, but whatever. So the Buster Blader, the Destruction Swordsman, its effect is this card's name becomes a Buster Blader while it's on the field or in the graveyard. If a monster or monsters your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect is sent to the graveyard, you target one of those destroyed monsters and equip it to this card, and then once per turn you can send one monster card you control. Let's equip this card to the graveyard and destroy all monsters your opponent controls with the same type of the monster sent in the graveyard, which is really cool. You're not going to use this a ton because the goal is to go into the Dragon Destroyer, but that effect is there if you need it. So that's why I'm running that at 3, and then also 2 of the Buster Blader. So for the next 3, I'm running 3 Buster Whelp of the Destruction Swordsman. Oh, it's on the hour. Good old clock. So if you wanted to bump this one down, that would be fine. You could do that if you want to run it 2. That's fine. I've actually been flirting with bringing it down to 2, but so far I'm running it 3. When this card is normal summon, you can add a Destruction Sword card from your deck to your hand, which is really cool. It can help search out the fusion one. Except another copy of this card. You can only use one of the following Buster Whelp Destruction Swordsman per turn, only once that turns. And you can tribute this card and special summon Buster Blader from your hand or graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard and you control a Buster Blader, you can discard one Destruction Sword card and then special summon this card to the field. So that is really helpful. Like I said, if you want to bump that down, that would be totally fine. You can do so. For the next 3, I'm running 3 of the best one, the Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, or better known as the Buster Lock. This card is freaking crazy. You can target a Buster Blader you control to equip this monster from your hand to your side of the field to that target. While this card is equipped to a monster, your opponent cannot special summon from the extra deck. While this card is equipped to a monster, you can special summon the equipped card. You can only use this effect of Dragon Buster Destruction Sword once per turn. So just being able to lock your opponent out of the extra deck is just really crippling, and a lot of times they'll just scoop if they don't have an out to this. So this card is definitely 3 of, and I'm also playing 1 Wizard Buster Destruction Sword. I don't see this played a ton, but honestly, I've used it. It's really helpful to lock your opponent out of their graveyard as well. You can target a Buster Blade monster you control and equip this monster from your hand or your side field that target. While this card is equipped to a monster, monsters in your opponent's graveyard cannot activate their effects, which is also crippling as well. It depends on the deck. Also, just like kind of, know what you're playing against, maybe side it, something like that. If you would rather run some Disruption or something like that, because I'm actually not running Ash in this one. If you want to do that and take out one of these and one of that and run 2 Ash or something, that'd be fine. So actually for the last 2 monsters, low monster count, I'm running 2 Galaxy Dragon. And this card is really, really good in this deck. So its relevance in this deck is the fact that this card can only attack Dragon-type monsters. Well, the goal of the deck is to get out Dragon Destroyer and then make all of our opponent's stuff dragons. So if we succeed, which more than likely we will, this card's crazy. So if this card battles a Dragon-type monster, this card gains 1,000 attack during the damage step only. And then you also need to negate that monster's effects during each battle phase as long as this card remains face up in the field. So this card is a 4-star, 3,000 attack beat stick that can just like straight up hurt and destroy your opponent because you have this additional attack power on the field that you could just normal summon. Like, it's just really, really cool. It is a really cool combo in this deck. Like I said, if you want to run some more Disruption, that would be fine. There's room for you to take out cards and put those in. That's totally fine. So that's it for the monsters. Let's get to the spells. We play a decent spell count. First off, of course, Call by the Grave, because you're searching out a lot of stuff in this deck, so Call by the Grave is pretty mandatory. I'm running 3 of the Destruction Swordsman Fusion. If you wanted to bump this down to 2, you could do that. I've seen it played at 1, 2, and 3, honestly. But I like seeing this card as fast as I can, even though it is searchable. So I'm running it 3. I've rarely ever bricked with this. Like, every time I see it, I'm relieved. I don't, I'm not really worried about breaking with this. But if you want to bump it down, it's fine. You can do so. I'm also running 3 of the Foolish Burial Goods, just to kind of, Foolish Burial some of our spells and traps, which is really nice. Also running a normal Foolish Burial, Monster Reborn, because it's just fantastic extender. And then the last one is a 1-for-1, because that's really pivotal in this deck as well. So that's it for the spells. Let's get into the traps. Probably the biggest, besides for trap tricks, the biggest trap count I've played in a while. I'm running 3 of, this is my favorite one, Destruction Sword Flash. Again, another one, if you want to bump this down to 2, that's fine. I love this card. This is my favorite card in this entire deck. So I'm running it at 3. This card's ridiculous. So for those of you who don't know what this card does, if you control a fusion monster that lists Buster Blader as material, banish all monsters your opponent controls. Now hold up, before we get into the rest of this, this does not target. This does not destroy. What do I always say? Non-targeting, non-destruction removal is some of the best in the game. This card wipes your opponent's entire monster board, and it banishes and it doesn't target. This is really, really good. It also has an amazing secondary effect when a card or effect is activated that targets a Buster Blader monster or monsters you control, except during the damage step. You can banish this card from your graveyard, negate that effect, and then destroy the card. So, oh my gosh. This card does so much. It wipes your opponent's board of monsters, banishes them, doesn't target, has a graveyard effect that negates and destroys a targeting card of one of your Buster Bladers, and this isn't once per turn. You can activate and resolve multiple of these if you have them on the field or in the graveyard. It is really, really good. If you have this card in your graveyard, I feel relieved knowing that I have that negate after I've already banished my opponent's monsters. So this is a really cool card. If you wanted to bump that down, that's fine. You can do that. I'm running 3 Prologue of the Destruction Swordsman. This is another flexible one. If you wanted to play 2 of this, that's cool. You send a Destruction Sword card and 1 Buster Blader monster from your deck to the graveyard, except another copy of this card. And then you special summon a Buster Dragon from your extra deck or graveyard, but destroy it during the end phase of the next turn. Which a lot of times that's not really going to matter, because that's all you need is to lock out your opponent for like a turn or 2. And then, because they're not going to be able to like activate effects or do stuff like that, because they're going to be dragons, so that's not really going to be a big deal. But with destroy it in the end phase next turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Then this turn, Destruction Sword cards you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. So it also has protection as well, so this is really great. I'm running just 2 of the Destruction Sword memories. What this one does is you discard a Destruction Sword card and special summon a Buster Blader monster from your deck. You can banish this card from your graveyard, this is a really cool one. Then you fusion summon a Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your graveyard, which is really, really cool. That is fantastic, just having access to fusion summoning by banishing stuff from the graveyard. That's great. Next up, I'm playing 3 Trap Trick, because these traps are really pivotal to the success of this deck, and you want to see them as quick as you can. So Trap Trick is just really, really helps out with that. And then for the last 3, DNA Surgery, which, okay, yeah, this one's tied with Destruction Sword Flash, because this card just really simple effect. You activate by declaring 1 monster type. All face-up monsters become that type. And we're gonna say dragons. And then we're going to get Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman on the field, and we're just going to lock out our opponent from winning, and they're going to scoop and be mad. Like, more, ideally that's what's going to happen. But this is a really, really good card. I definitely recommend running 3 of this, because it's really, really important to the success of this deck as well. Alright, so that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. To start off with, we're playing 3 of the big boy himself, Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman. So for those of you who are new to this deck and don't know what he does, let me explain. He must be fusion summoned and can't be special summoned by other ways. This card cannot attack directly. Okay, that's not really a big deal, and you're going to see why. This card gains 1,000 attack and defense for each dragon type monster your opponent controls or is in their graveyard. So he can get big quick, especially with DNA Surgery. So the reason he combos so well with DNA Surgery and Buster Dragon is this. You change all Dragon-type monsters your opponent controls in defense position. Also, Dragon-type monsters in your opponent's possession cannot activate their effects. They can't even activate their effects. It's not that their effects are negated. They can't even activate them. That is crazy. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage to your opponent. So this card can get up super beefy, switches all of your opponent's monsters to defense position, assuming you have DNA Surgery or Buster Dragon on the field. Stops them from even activating their effects. And on top of that, he does piercing damage. This is a really, really good card. And I just love winning with this thing. This is one of my favorite decks to play. And it's so very satisfying to win with this. I'm also running a Dark Paladin.
Hey guys, so right here I'm talking about how great Dark Paladin is to throw in case you want to play against something spell heavy like Sky Strikers or something like that. Is a great target to play into the deck, but I completely forget to mention that you might want to throw in a Dark Magician into your deck lineup in case you want to play Dark Paladin. So excuse my stupidity, just wanted to clarify.
This card must be face up in the field to activate and resolve this effect, and then this card gains 500 attack for each Dragon-type monster on the field or in either player's graveyard. So this card gets super beefy as well, and like if you're going to get Sky Strikers, this is a really good card to go into. Alright, so moving away from the fusions, we're going into the links now. I'm running a Borosaur, just OTK reasons, of course. A Nightmare Unicorn, Phoenix, and then also Cerberus for the Nightmare package. And then a Link Karibo, just in case. For the Synchros, I'm running 2 Buster Dragon. Now, I was actually running this at 1. I bumped it up because my opponent kept trying to out it. And this is an important card too. All monsters, what it does is all monsters your opponent controls become Dragon-type monsters. So it's basically a walk-in DNA Surgery. Once per turn, if you do not control a Buster Blader monster, you can target a Buster Blader in your graveyard and special summon it. Once per turn, during your opponent's turn, you can target 1 Buster Blader you control and equip it with 1 Destruction Sword monster from your graveyard. And this is also a quick effect. This is such a daggone good card. I really recommend you playing it. I recommend 2. You're not going to go into 3. I don't recommend 3. But if you want to play 1, that's fine. You can get away with it. But so far, I've liked 2. And just for the rest of the more generic synchros, I'm running a Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, a Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. I struggled right there. Cyframe Lord Omega. Wow, I am struggling. And then a high Speedroid Chanbara. I just say Speedroid. That's all I say when I summon this card. Probably not going to go into these nearly as much. But the option's there in case you want it. It just depends on the situation. But more than likely, you're going to go into Buster Dragon and Destruction, Dragon Destroyer, and then just be very satisfied if your opponent's scooping. But that's actually it for the deck, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed this. This is not an expensive deck to make. I think, actually, Buster Dragon might be a little expensive. I can't remember. When I picked him up, he was like 12. But I do think he spiked a little bit, but he might have gone back down. I didn't really pay attention. And of course, you know, if you don't have a Borosaur, you can play something else. Like, you know, this isn't mandatory for the deck. But these are cheap, so I really do recommend you picking this up. It's a fun deck to play. It really is a fun deck to play. And one of Buster Blade is awesome. Man, it's just great. As always, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you've made it this far and you liked it, hey, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate that, and it allows my video to circulate around YouTube. Definitely still a very small YouTuber, so that means a lot to me. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so you become a part of the notification team so you can get notifications of deck profiles just like this one. As always, I will see you in the next video.